Hey, 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 it's Rebecca Simon Peter with 5 Minute Leadership. In this next 5 minutes, I'm going to give you such important information. It's information I wished I'd had when I was a local church pastor. It's information I wished I had when I was growing up in my family and being in my classroom. Oh my gosh, this is stuff you need to know because we're going to talk about the 5 signs that you are self sabotaging. Now, in the chat, if you're watching now or you're watching later, I would love for you to put in at least one of the top 5 signs that you're self sabotaging. Like, how do you know? What have been the clues for you? And then I want you to compare what your experience has been and what you think with what you see here. These come directly from the experience of working with lots of pastors, lots of lay leaders, lots of district superintendents, and bishops all over the denomination. What are the top 5 signs of self sabotage? Now, personally, I could vouch for each of these because I've done them. But here's what I want you to see. Number one, how do you know you're self sabotaging? People don't respond the way you think they should or you think they would. Probably something's going on with you where you didn't get it quite right to frame it in a way that they could hear it or that they're really on board with you. I remember one terrible staff meeting I had where I laid out this idea and everybody gave it the nix. Now, they weren't polite, they were very clear. They didn't like this idea at all. Self sabotage on my part. I hadn't checked it out with people ahead of time to see if I really had buy in. Number two, assigning intent and meaning to everybody's action. In other words, listening more to your understanding of what you think is going on than listening to what they're really saying. I saw an interesting article in the ARP magazine that said how to tell what your pet is really saying. When they roll over, the cat rolls over, they don't really want you to pat their tummy. How do you know? The claws come out. So, when you assign intent and meaning, you automatically understand what's going on for them, but you're not really listening. That's a sign of self sabotage. Number three of the top 5 signs that you are self sabotaging is being certain, and I mean certain, that there's only one way to understand something, there's only one way to do something, and arguing for your point. That, my friends, is a self sabotage because basically what you said is nobody else is necessary in that room. You don't need a team. You don't need input. You don't need any other ideas. You don't need different points of view. You don't even need the Holy Spirit because you got it all figured out. That is a sign of self sabotage, especially for spiritual leaders. All right, number 4, assuming that everything is about their particular weakness, like why they're not on board with you or why they don't see it. Assuming that people are passing judgment based on how you've judged yourself. Those are signs of self sabotage. It means that you're not really having empathy. You're not really with the other person, and you're not actually present to how God might be speaking in this situation because you're only focused on either their weakness or your own weakness. Hard to be present with people when that's the filter. And finally, number 5, not recognizing or acting on the social capital that you have. One of the ways that I see this self sabotage happening over and over is that leaders don't go far enough. They don't go far enough. They don't understand they actually have social capital. They actually have legitimacy in the eyes of their people, and they're still trying to prove themselves or they're still trying to make sure nobody gets upset, and they haven't given a bold enough vision or taken people far enough forward as far as people are willing to go. So that's it. The 5 signs that you are self sabotaging. I would love again to see what have been your self sabotages. Put those in the chat. I'm definitely going to check back and see what you had to say. And I hope that this is helpful for you because one of the things that we're finding now is that there's so much tension in churches and there's so much pressure in churches right now that people are either overly cautious or underly cautious, and either one can be a self sabotage. So I want to encourage you to live your call to the fullest. And I want to encourage you to really pay attention to what the Holy Spirit is saying and how the Holy Spirit is prompting you so that you can lead powerfully and effectively in these times. I offer a couple of upcoming resources for people who want to move out of self sabotage into powerful leadership. You can find those on my website under online courses, RebeccaSimonPeter.com. Would love to see you at a future workshop. And of course, next leadership mojo. Thanks so much for being with me. Please like and share because you're not the only one that gets into self sabotage. All right, take good care, and we'll see you next time. Bye.